So this is the much anticipated Alien TV series from showrunner Noah Hawley, who of course did the Fargo TV series and Legion before that. Has made some great TV. So people have been talking about this show a lot. Some not influenced, some podcasters, reviewers that I listened to got to see the first episode at Comic-Con and were raving about it. So let me get into our story. So we open on the USS Maginot, a spaceship in deep space, very alien, where our team of astronauts, they're coming out of hypersleep, and they're discussing just kind of the state of things, and they're near Saturn, so they still got a ways to go. They're just coming out for a day or two out of hypersleep, and they're on an intergalactic zoo, basically. And we see all these specimens on their ship, including the famous alien face hugger, which appears to be dead. Is it? Is it not? We don't really know. And we have our usual space truckers and scientists corralling, fellowshipping, getting along, kind of not getting along at the same time. And then this ship inevitably, of course, crash lands on Earth with very few survivors, and it crash lands on the property of a company called Prodigy, which is new to the alien universe. It's led by Boy Cavalier, the world's youngest trillionaire, who's definitely suffering from Peter Pan syndrome. And this is the real story: is Prodigy has developed this technology to transport a human mind into an android body. And the very first thing we learn on the show, there's a slate that there's three types of kind of AI that are in combat with each other. There's cyborgs, which we're all familiar with, and enhanced human. There are the synthetics of the alien universe. This is the androids, people like Ash in the first Alien, or David in Alien Covenant and Prometheus. And then this new kind are hybrids, which are, again, a human mind in an android body. And this is led by the main star of this series, played by Sydney Chandler, Wendy. Wendy is a 12-year-old girl dying of cancer whose mind is transported into the body of Sydney Chandler, who's a grown-up, an adult. And so you have this weird, a 12-year-old's mind in an adult body. And there are several of these kids who undergo this procedure. They are the Lost Boys, and they are sent on a mission to investigate this crash, help the rescuers, and that's our setup. So the main focus of the show is not the alien as much as what is the future of humanity as we start to enhance ourselves. And we're seeing this even in today's world, but what happens when we can go even further? Will we lose our humanity? What will it mean to be human when we achieve certain levels of technologies? So I'm mostly just going to talk about the first episode, but that's our big setup. A lot to take in. Zach, what do you think?
So I was really pleasantly surprised by Alien Earth, and I think a lot of critics have been, right? Because it seems like such a narrow idea. Oh, we're going to take this property and just turn it into 8 episodes, right? Throw it on one of the streamers, make it something. Like, it seems like just it would be some kind of cash-in, whatever, right? We're making an Alien series. But Noah Hawley brings over a lot of experience from FX's Fargo and FX's Legion. He's working with FX again here on Alien. And he most importantly brings in a lot of work with Ridley Scott, who helped produce this. They had started putting this together in like 2019. It was supposed to shoot way earlier than it did, and then COVID slowed it down, and then it had more trouble shooting because of the writer's strikes. So it's been a slog to get Alien Earth made, which is all to say that the first episode is surprisingly good. It is very good, in my opinion. I think it's a really solid pilot. Episode 2, I think, is not quite as tight, but it's not directed by Hawley. It's a different director. So I think that's just some stylistic choices. The setup here, though, like Andy said, is very explicit. The alien is not the big kind of problem here. It's the advancement of humanity and how capitalism has turned the Earth into 4 companies, I think they said, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
A lot of this is echoed in how our soldiers, our rescue people here, even our characters, Wendy and the Lost Boys, are treated. They are commodities. Their consciousness is real, but your body is a product that is owned and sold by a corporation. And all of this is in the effort of discovering what's next and taking the next technological advancement. It's got a lot of really complex themes there. And then on top of that, you get you get our character Wendy looking for her family member, and you get this crash ship into the middle of this huge city, and it's in this building that's going to collapse, and you got this rescue squad, you got friends, and all that's running over the surface of all that. And then like the icing on the cake is the alien. And Hawley really understands this, because if you're making an alien series, your audience has already seen 6 of these movies. How do you make it tense? How do you make it exciting when we all know what the monster looks like, how the monster acts, what the monster does? He gives us the monster in the opening like minutes of the pilot. Like you get the monster. I think you get to look at a xenomorph within like 10 minutes. And then it pulls back and says, hey, that's not the real danger. Like, that's not the real threat. That's not the real drama of this show. This is going to be the monster at the top of an already well-produced horror series. It's good. It's clever. That's exactly how you should do it, right? Like any good horror movie, you want your movie to be good before the monster shows up. Like the monster just happens to be like personification of evil, whatever. I'm talking too much. What do you think, Andy?
Well, I wanted to talk about this concept that I've heard lately online called Surf Dracula. Have you heard about this?
I saw a meme today with Surf Dracula. What the hell is Surf Dracula?
So this is relevant, I promise. Surf Dracula was this post that said, in older TV shows, a show called Surf Dracula would have Dracula surfing every week. Every episode, Dracula would be on the waves. In modern shows, it would be Dracula would take 7 episodes to get a surfboard, and then he would surf in the last 5 minutes of the last episode.
Yeah, right.
So this is a great concept. And what's great about this is that it is totally Surf Dracula, but you see it's old school where, again, we see the alien in the first episode, in the first 2 episodes. He's not trying to hide it from us. That's what a lot of shows would do. They would bring out the alien at the very last thing after an 8-episode build up. But it's asking very different questions. I also wanted to highlight of our cast, Timothy Olyphant is in this as he plays a synthetic, an android named Kirsch, and he kind of oversees the Lost Boys because they are children essentially, but he also sees them as inferior, and we see this throughout the Alien series where the humans view the androids as inferior and vice versa. He has this great speech where he said, you used to be food. Actually, you still are food. You just stopped calling yourself that. And he kind of thinks that these hybrids are basically better than humanity or will ascend. Kind of, he's like, you will be more robot. And so we get people that are, will they become more human, or will they become more robot? We also have Alex Lawther, who plays Herman. He's Sydney's brother, who she's also kind of trying to look after. Samuel Blanken, who plays Boy Cavalier, in this fascinating, young tech trillionaire that's really annoying and also feels very much of the time. So it's a great cast, but I'm definitely enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at how well the Peter Pan scheme works. When we meet Wendy for the first time, she's starting to kind of do this synthetic transition, and they do this really great sequence where Boy Cavalier shows up and snaps his fingers, and on this projector screen above her plays Disney's Peter Pan, which is surreal to watch. Like you've probably seen the meme of Sydney Chandler's face opposite Sid the Sloth from Ice Age. That's been a thing this last week. It's a frame in this movie. It's a lot of cross dissolves stylistically, I think for good reasons. It's weird to see Disney just stick children's properties in here, because there was a time they never would have done this, dog. You would never see Peter Pan in an Alien project, and now here it is, right? Not only that, but it's a core feature. FX is owned by Disney, so that's the reason they're getting away with this. But Hawley writing this part in with these kids that are being turned into synthetics that now not only are stronger, but technically are under less bodily threat by the aliens because they're not real, is interesting. They are kind of super soldiers, but they're immature and stunted, and they're complex and have problems. This plays great opposite Timothy Olyphant, who is so menacingly stiff. He looks like he's about to explode at any moment. He looks like he's about to rip somebody's head off. He looks like he's about to go absolutely crazy. He's got this crazy white hair. And he's kind of ordering them around. Yeah, you get your rescue soldiers who are all human as far as we know. There's a cyborg character who has this morphing arm thing. So the world of Alien is so already grown and ballooned out from what we know going into it, because Hawley brings in all of these new elements. Yeah, this Boy Cavalier character, this idea of the Lost Boys, right? They call them very directly Wendy. It's charming and it's familiar to an audience who would not be familiar with Peter Pan and Alien going together. And somehow it manages to work and weave in something clever. Episode 2 goes to some interesting places as well. We start to move up into our building a little bit. There's a Renaissance party at one point. That's really
Like a
rad.
Louis
Like
XVI party.
is silly, but like what a great reason to have a bunch of violence about a bunch of people with powdered wigs and face paint. You know what I mean? Like, sure, why not? Like, it seems creatively like fruitful for what's happening here, and like that's so meaningful because it could have just been, 8 space truckers on a ship for 9 episodes. Like Andy said, you see the alien once at the end of every episode. You got another one. What are we going to do? Like, it could have been so much smaller, and it's so much grander in scope than I expected.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I went back and rewatched the first 2 episodes twice just so because there's a lot in here, and I really appreciated the second time. There's a lot of questions that it's raising that I think we'll find out later. We like, for instance, Wendy. I keep wanting to say Sydney because that's Sydney Chandler. Wendy keeps hearing this like high pitched buzz, and we don't really know why. And there's some questions about like you get her story of her being young with her brother, but there's some questions there. There's some questions about the survivors of the ship, because again, there's always some shady Weyland-Yutani person who's there for the buck every time. There's a lot of questions that are continuing to be raised, so I'm excited to see how that will play out. I also wanted to highlight Sydney Chandler, who's the daughter of Kyle Chandler, who's also a famed TV actor. And she's phenomenal in this role because, again, she has to be this kind of like very naive, young, like she's playing a 12-year-old person, but in like a 19, 20-year-old's body, who it's just, and the way she has to act and a lot of physical acting in this kind of, again, it's a Peter Pan thing. It's really good. And she's, the main character. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. Really quick before we wrap up, I wanted to highlight the other theme I really like running in this, which is capitalism, right? And the horrors of like a technocrat future. I love that when the ship wrecks into the building, like the area that the rescue survivors have to go to get into the ship, they have to pass through the building and go through this, like there's all the sparks falling and there's like a wall blown out. It's like a shopping mall. They're like selling clothes, and there's like models like with fits on and like big screens. And like the world we've seen is basically poverty stricken. Like it just seems like nobody would be able to afford anything like this. And yet like these big companies are still selling products and doing advertising just like anything else to all of these people in these areas who are like woefully poorly taken care of. Like these giant companies that run the world have no idea that a ship is about to crash into a city. They don't have any warnings. They don't have any alarm bells or anything. Like everything's strictly reactive. And I love that this world is complex, and I love that it's got problems, and like it seems a lot to tie into like where the world of Alien Romulus is. At the beginning of that movie, you see our characters like, I think they're trying to escape Earth, and they're working at like a mining colony or something. I think it's Earth, and it's not going good. Like things are bad there. And that's just a few years after this, as far as I know. So like I like it. I like that the world of Alien Earth is like complicated and interesting and tangled up, and like has problems that feel kind of relatable to where we're at right now. Like I think all of that comes in because of Hawley. Like I think all of that is him and his team bringing that in, as far as I know. It's great. It's like it's exactly like the setting something like this needs. Because then when the alien shows up, then you just got bigger problems, right? Like rather than just being about an alien is, I don't know, about something. Also, the set design's incredible. This 70s ship they got in the beginning, like that looks like it fell right out of old Alien, is like so good looking, just great looking show.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing about the production design. Call back to the original films for sure. I remember I heard in an interview that Hawley said the first 2 films, Alien and Aliens, were kind of what they looked at the most for this, while also being inspired by the newer films as well. That's where it's more a bit Blade Runner-esque, where it's asking questions about humanity, what it means to be human, what it means to kind of be beyond human, those sorts of things.
Yeah. And it's so clever because Alien and Aliens are so tonally different. And like in the first episode, you manage to hit both. You manage to get like the quiet, smoky rooms of like these padded 70s walls and this like a spaceship where they're trucking aliens back to Earth. And then you get like the Space Marines and like guys with helmets on and blasters, right? Running around and like headbands and bandanas and goofy shit. Like really outstanding. Any other thoughts or recommendations?
I think I'm ready.
Andy, would you recommend Alien Earth?
Yeah, I really would, especially if you're an Alien fan. I think you're gonna like it. First two episodes are out now, but we have good performances, interesting questions about what it means to be human. These themes get brought up, but we get plenty of alien stuff. We got face huggers, the xenomorph itself, spaceship stuff, espionage, betrayal, all that good stuff. It's definitely a very mature show, lots of violence. So highly recommend. Probably not for the kids.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. The first episode's really great, very cinematic, feels a lot like the films. Second episode, not as good, but I'm curious to see where it's going. Yeah, Alien Earth's on Hulu. Go check it out right now. It's great. And yeah, that's Alien Earth. You have another show you want to talk about, though. You rewatched Peacemaker, right? Which I think I might have footage of. So if you can talk about it for a minute, let me see if I can get that
Yeah,
on screen here. Yeah, go ahead.